Hey folks, welcome back to the Stoic Journey. You're playing the game wrong. Let me ask you something. Do you honestly believe that bending over backward, constantly changing yourself, trying to fit into someone else's mold, is going to make you more attractive? Is that what you think? That you need to chase after their validation, twisting and turning, altering every piece of who you are just to keep them interested? Because if that's your mindset, they've already won. You're playing a part in their game, and they've made you the fool. You're not the lead in your story, you're the extra in theirs. Listen, they've convinced you that to be desirable, to be magnetic, you need to become what they want. They've conditioned you to think that if you just change a little more, if you're just quieter, more agreeable, more likable, then maybe they'll notice you. But let me tell you something. All that does is strip away your power piece by piece until there's nothing left of you. And that's exactly what they want. They want you docile, controllable, a puppet to their whims, thinking that being a doormat will make you more magnetic. But here's the harsh truth. The more you change to please others, the more you fade into the background. They'll chew you up, spit you out, and forget you ever existed. Because people don't respect what they can manipulate. They respect what they can't control. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, but I've done everything right. I've been kind, I've been patient, I've given and given. And let me guess, what has that gotten you? More taken for granted, more ignored. You're pouring your energy into people who will never pour it back, and it's making you invisible. The harder you try, the less they see you. The more you give, the less they value what you bring. But here's the twist. You don't need to change who you are. You don't need to shapeshift, shrink, or morph into their ideal version of you. You can become magnetic by doing the exact opposite, by standing firm in exactly who you are. Let's face it, society's been feeding you lies your whole life. They tell you that to attract people, you need to be something you're not. You need to be polished, perfect, and agreeable, and the world has a habit of rewarding those who fit that mold, right? But that's the con. That's how they keep you small. They make you think that if you're too bold, too real, too raw, you'll drive people away. So you dim your light. You silence your voice. You become something palatable, digestible. You make yourself easy. And let me tell you, nothing repels people faster than someone who is easy to figure out, easy to mold. Now, here's where you take back the script of your life. Do you want to know the real art of being magnetic? It's not about becoming what they want. It's about becoming so unapologetically you that they can't help but be drawn to you. You've heard the phrase, be yourself, 1,000 times, but most people don't understand what that actually means. They think it's about comfort zones and familiarity, but that's not it. Being yourself means refusing to dilute your intensity to fit into someone else's small box. It's about embracing your flaws, your quirks, your raw edges, and owning them so fully that no one else can look away. Here's the secret weapon: dark psychology. No, I'm not talking about manipulation or deceit. That's the shallow interpretation. I'm talking about mastering the subtle art of power dynamics, understanding how human nature works, how people are wired, and using that knowledge to your advantage without ever compromising your integrity. It's not about playing games. It's about making sure you are the one holding the cards. You become magnetic, not by changing, but by understanding how to use the power you already have. Think about the most magnetic people you know. Are they bending over backward for anyone? Are they chasing validation? No, they walk into a room, and people are drawn to them because they exude confidence, self-assuredness, And most of all, they don't need anyone's approval. That's the real trick. The less you need people to like you, the more they'll be drawn to you. The less you try to be everything for everyone, the more they'll want to be around you. And here's why. People are wired to chase what they can't easily have. When you make yourself hard to reach, they scramble to get closer. When you stop caring about what they think, they become desperate for your approval. You see, when you master the art of being magnetic, you're not running after anyone. You're not playing the fool in someone else's drama. You become the director, you create the story, and they follow your lead. The real magnetic power lies in your ability to stay true to yourself while understanding how to make others crave your presence. The minute you stop giving away your energy freely, the minute you stop letting them think they've got you figured out, that's when they start chasing you. So ask yourself this: are you done being an extra in your own life? Are you done with the people who only seem to care when it's convenient for them? Then it's time to flip the script. It's time to become the person who commands attention without saying a word, the person who holds the room without lifting a finger. And that starts with one simple shift. Stop changing to fit their mold. Start owning every piece of who you are. Start walking through life knowing that you, as you are already enough. You don't need their validation, their approval, or their attention. All you need is to believe that you are the prize, not the other way around. And when you stop chasing, when you stop playing their game, that's when the real magic happens. That's when you become magnetic, without changing a single thing about yourself. Write this in the comments to seal your power and affirm with me: I am magnetic, exactly as I am. Let this be your reminder that you don't have to alter yourself to draw people in. Your authentic self is enough. So, are you ready? Ready to stop playing small, stop chasing shadows, and finally step into your full power? The world has enough people pretending. It needs you in all your raw, unapologetic, magnetic glory. In this video, you'll learn 7 tips to master the art of being magnetic without changing who you are. Using dark psychology tricks and the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, you'll discover how to command attention and shift power dynamics in your favor while staying true to yourself. Stoicism teaches that true power comes from within, and these insights will help you become a force no one can ignore. Let's dive in and unleash the magnetic power already inside you. Number 1. Stay cool. Command attention. Staying cool under pressure is one of the most magnetic qualities you can possess. It's the key to commanding attention without needing to raise your voice or act out of character. The world is chaotic, and people around you are constantly trying to provoke, test, or pull you into their emotional storms. But what happens when you refuse to get swept away by it all? When you remain calm, grounded, and unshaken, you instantly become the person others gravitate toward. In a relationship, this is even more powerful. Imagine being in the middle of an argument with your partner. They're raising their voice, emotions are flying, and everything seems like it's about to explode. Now, instead of matching their energy and reacting out of emotion, you stay calm. You don't raise your voice. You don't let their emotional storm pull you under. In that moment, you become the anchor. You're the eye of the storm, the calm within the chaos. This kind of control is magnetic because it shows strength. It shows that you're not easily rattled, that no matter what's happening around you, you remain in control of yourself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's exactly what this is about. Realizing that you can't always control what others do or say, but you can control how you respond. When you stay cool, you not only protect your peace, but you also project confidence and stability, two qualities that people naturally find irresistible. In relationships, staying cool is a game changer. Let's be honest, fights happen, disagreements are inevitable, but most arguments escalate because both sides are too focused on being right, too focused on reacting rather than thinking. When your partner pushes your buttons, they expect you to react. It's what they're used to. Maybe you've always been the one to get heated, to match their emotional intensity. But what if you didn't? What if you chose a different path? The next time things start to heat up, instead of giving them the reaction they expect, you take a breath. You pause. You control your response. That pause changes everything. Suddenly, the argument loses steam. They don't know how to handle your calmness because they're not used to it. In that moment, you've taken back the power. They can't control you, and that's when they start respecting you in a way they haven't before. But let's not pretend this is easy. Staying cool when your emotions are screaming for attention can feel impossible. Your partner is coming at you with everything, pushing every button you have, and all you want to do is fire back. It's tempting to let your emotions run the show, but here's the truth. Every time you give in to that temptation, you're giving away your power. You're letting someone else dictate how you feel and how you act. That's where most people go wrong. They think reacting is a sign of strength, but real strength is found in restraint. It's in knowing when to hold back, when to stay calm, even when everything inside you is telling you to explode. Think of it like a fire. Your partner might come at you with flames, but you don't have to add fuel to it. Instead, you can be the water that douses the fire. Your calmness is the water that cools the heat. And once you master this, the dynamic of your relationship shifts. They realize they can't get under your skin like they used to, and that shift in power is what makes you magnetic. People are drawn to what they can't control, and when they see that you're no longer reacting, no longer giving them what they expect, they start chasing after you in a way they never have before. But how do you stay cool when it feels impossible? It's all about practice. Start small. The next time you feel yourself getting worked up, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that reacting won't solve anything. It'll only escalate the situation. Focus on the bigger picture. Is winning this argument really worth losing your peace? As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you're building that inner strength. It won't happen overnight, but with time, you'll notice that staying cool becomes second nature. And once you reach that point, you'll notice how people respond to you differently. They'll start looking to you for stability, for that calm presence that they can rely on. Picture this. You're a rock in the middle of a raging river. The water is trying to pull you away, to erode you, to break you down, but you don't move. You stand firm. The water, the chaos, can't touch you. That's what it means to stay cool, to remain unshaken by the storms around you. And when you become that steady presence in your relationship, your partner will feel it. They'll be drawn to your strength, to the way you remain calm even when things get tough. And that calmness, it's the foundation of true magnetism. Now, I know this might sound easier said than done. There will be moments when you're pushed to your limit, when staying calm feels like the last thing you can do. But that's where the real growth happens. It's in those moments that you have to push through, to remind yourself that reacting won't fix anything. Staying cool isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about controlling them. It's about choosing how you respond instead of letting others control your reactions. And that control is where your true power lies. So I'm going to hit you with some real talk. This is just the first step. You can't expect to move the needle in your life with just one action. Mastering the art of being magnetic takes commitment, patience, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. This is only the beginning. You have to stick with me through this journey, because staying cool is just one part of the puzzle. We're just getting started. You can't click away now, because one step won't transform your life. It's the combination of all these steps that will turn you into someone truly magnetic, someone worth chasing. I want you to commit. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am magnetic without changing who I am. Let me know you're ready to take this journey with me, to fully embrace this transformation. We're just scratching the surface, and I promise you what's coming next will change everything. Stay with me. This is just the start. Number 2, be a puzzle, not a book. Being a puzzle, not a book, is one of the most powerful ways to master the art of being magnetic. But what does that really mean? It means you stop laying all your cards on the table. You stop revealing every thought, every feeling, and every plan you have. Instead, you become a little harder to figure out. You hold back just enough to keep them guessing, to make them curious, to spark that deep-rooted desire in people to uncover what they can't easily see. People are wired to chase what they don't fully understand. And when you become a puzzle, they can't help but try to piece you together. In relationships, this is everything. Think about it. When you give someone everything up front, your emotions, your thoughts, your vulnerabilities, you think it will make them feel closer to you. You think it will strengthen the bond. But what it often does is make you predictable. You become too available, too easy to read, and once that happens, the mystery fades. They feel like they've figured you out, and suddenly, the excitement disappears. Attraction thrives on curiosity, on the unknown. When you're a puzzle, you don't let them solve you so easily. You keep them wondering, keep them intrigued, and that's where the magnetic pull comes in. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding human nature. When you reveal everything, there's no more thrill of discovery. But when you keep some things to yourself, when you don't share every emotion or explain every decision, you become someone they're drawn to because they want to know more. The less you give, the more they want. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's the key here. It's not about hiding who you are, but about being selective with what you reveal. In a relationship, this can transform everything. Imagine you're in a conversation with your partner, and instead of pouring out every detail about your day, your emotions, or your thoughts, you hold back just a little. You're not withholding affection, but you're not giving everything away either. You leave a bit of space for them to wonder, to ask questions, to engage deeper. That space is where attraction grows. Now you might be thinking, but if I hold back, won't they feel disconnected from me? Won't that create distance? Here's the reality, not at all. In fact, the opposite is true. By not giving everything away, you create an energy of intrigue, of curiosity. They start leaning in because they feel like there's more to discover. When you don't overshare, they'll be drawn to you, trying to fill in the gaps, trying to understand the parts of you that remain a mystery. People are naturally attracted to what they can't fully grasp. Think about it like this. You're a novel with layers. If they can read the whole book in one sitting, they'll move on. But if they can only see a few pages at a time, they'll keep coming back, eager to turn the next page. You don't have to change who you are to create this effect. All you need to do is stop being an open book. Be the novel they can't put down, the puzzle they can't quite solve. In relationships, this can feel difficult at first. We've been conditioned to think that sharing everything is the key to intimacy. But intimacy doesn't come from knowing everything about someone right away. It comes from slowly discovering deeper layers over time. It comes from earning that knowledge bit by bit. If you always make yourself fully available, they start to take you for granted. They stop asking questions, stop being curious, and that's when the relationship starts to feel stale. But when you become the puzzle they're eager to solve, you reignite that desire. You pull them in without changing a single thing about yourself. There will be moments when it feels uncomfortable to hold back. You might want to share everything, to let them in on every thought and feeling. But here's the truth: less is more. It's not about shutting them out. It's about letting them come closer, step by step, because they want to. You create a magnetic energy by not always being an open book. Picture this metaphor. You're like a beautiful, intricate painting, but instead of showing the whole canvas, you only reveal parts of it at a time. They see pieces of the masterpiece, and they're hooked. They want to see more. They imagine the full picture, and that imagining pulls them toward you. If you showed them the entire painting in one glance, they'd appreciate it, but the mystery would be gone. When you leave parts unseen, you become unforgettable. Here's where we hit hard. Embrace this step. Don't just understand it, live it. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to overshare, to give them everything, pause. Hold back just enough to make them lean in. Let them wonder. Let them ask. Let them be the ones to pursue. You are the prize, not the open book. Don't give them everything at once. Make them work to see all that you are. This is how you become magnetic. This is how you shift the power in any relationship without changing who you are. Now remember, this is just the beginning. You can't expect to transform your life with just one step. Being a puzzle is powerful, but it's only one piece of mastering the art of being magnetic. You have to stick with me through this entire process. We're just getting started. If you want to move the needle in your life, to become the person people chase, you have to accept this challenge fully. Don't even think about clicking away. You owe it to yourself to commit to this journey. Number 3. Use silence as your power play. Using silence as your power play in a relationship is one of the most underrated yet highly effective tools you can wield. Silence isn't about shutting someone out, nor is it about playing petty games. It's about creating space. Space for reflection, for emotional recalibration, and for shifting the power dynamic in your favor. You see, most people are uncomfortable with silence, especially during conflicts or difficult conversations. They're so used to filling the air with explanations, justifications, and emotional outbursts that they forget the most powerful thing they can do is simply say nothing. Silence allows you to hold your ground without reacting, and it speaks volumes about your strength and self-control. When you stay silent, you don't give them the reaction they expect, and that unsettles them. Suddenly, they're forced to reflect on their own words and actions. They're left with their own emotions, while you remain calm and in control. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play. As Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In moments of conflict, we often think that saying more will help us win the argument or prove our point. But in reality, the more you talk, the more power you give away. You become reactive, and being reactive means you're not in control. By choosing silence, you choose control. You choose to rise above the chaos, to let the other person stew in their emotions while you maintain your composure. Silence makes you magnetic because it creates an air of mystery, making people wonder what you're thinking, what you're going to do next. And that uncertainty makes you powerful. In a relationship, especially during heated moments, the temptation to defend yourself or lash out is strong. Your partner might be yelling, accusing, or trying to push your buttons. But what if, instead of meeting them at their level, you stayed silent? Not in a way that ignores them, but in a way that says, "I hear you, but I won't be pulled into this chaos." When you stay silent, they have no choice but to face their own words and actions. They realize that you're not playing their game, and that shift in the dynamic forces them to reflect. Silence can often lead to more resolution than 1,000 words could, because it allows both of you to step back and see the situation for what it is, without the noise. Of course, using silence as your power play isn't easy, especially when emotions are running high. It takes strength, patience, and a deep understanding of yourself. You might feel the urge to defend your point, to explain yourself, or to argue back. But remember, the more you talk, the less power you hold. If staying silent feels difficult, think of it as mental armor, the kind that protects you from getting dragged into emotional chaos. When you master this, you'll notice how much more in control you feel and how people respond differently to you. They'll start to realize that they can't push you around emotionally, that you're not easily swayed by their outbursts, and that, my friend, is magnetic. Let's break it down with a metaphor. Imagine you're at sea and a massive storm is raging. The winds are howling, the waves are crashing, and everyone around you is panicking, trying to steer the ship in every direction. Now, instead of joining in that panic, you become the anchor. You remain still, grounded, unmovable, while everyone else is being tossed around by the storm. You're the calm center. That's what silence does in a relationship. It makes you the calm in the storm. It makes you the steady force that others can't help but gravitate toward, because they sense your stability, your unshakable presence. And in the chaos of emotional storms, that calmness is priceless. But let's be real. There will be moments when silence feels impossible. Maybe your partner is pushing you to explain yourself, or is making accusations that you feel are unfair. In those moments, staying silent may feel like losing ground, like giving them the upper hand. But here's the truth. Your silence is not weakness. It's strength. It's a choice. It's you deciding that you won't be dragged into emotional reactions, that you value your peace of mind more than winning a pointless argument. When you stay silent in those moments, they're left to wrestle with their own words, and often they'll realize that they've gone too far. Silence gives them space to reflect, and it gives you control over how and when you choose to respond. Now here's the motivational hit you need to embrace. Silence is your secret weapon. It's what will set you apart in any relationship. It's the power play that shows you don't need to fight for attention or validation. You already have it. You're in control, and you get to decide how you react, not them. This is just the beginning. Silence is only the first step in mastering the art of being magnetic without changing who you are. We're only getting started, and there's so much more to learn. Number 4, set boundaries. Demand respect. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful things you can do in any relationship, especially if you want to be magnetic without changing who you are. Boundaries are your invisible lines. They tell others where your limits are, and that's where real respect begins. When you fail to set boundaries, you're basically saying, I'm available whenever you need me, no matter how much it costs me. And let me tell you something. People will take advantage of that. They'll walk all over you, not because they're necessarily bad people, but because you've shown them there's no limit to how much they can take. People respect what they can't control, and boundaries are how you show them you're not someone to be controlled. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself constantly bending over backward for someone, doing things you don't want to do just to make them happy, always being there whenever they call, even when it drains you? And what do you get in return? Less respect? Less appreciation? That's because you've made yourself too available, too easy to access. But when you set boundaries, you're not being selfish. You're showing people how you expect to be treated. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." The same goes for your relationships. Stop explaining what you deserve and start demanding it with clear boundaries. You don't need to argue or plead for respect. It's given when you respect yourself enough to say no. In a relationship, this can feel tough at first. You may think that by saying no or creating distance, you'll push them away. But here's the truth. Setting boundaries actually draws them in. When you stop being available at their every whim, they start to value the time they do get with you. They realize that your presence is not something they can take for granted. It's like water in the desert. The less they get, the more precious it becomes. They start craving your time and attention because they can no longer predict when or how much they'll have it. People value what they have to work for. If you're struggling to set boundaries because it feels uncomfortable, remember this. It's better to be respected with boundaries than to be liked for being a doormat. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates that allow the right kind of behavior to come in. And like anything else, it takes practice. Start small. Next time they push you to do something you don't want to, pause, breathe, and say no without apologizing. Feel the power in that moment. You'll see how quickly things change when you stop giving away your time and energy freely. Imagine a castle without walls. Anyone can walk in and take what they want, but when that castle has strong gates, only those who deserve to enter are allowed in. You are that castle. Your boundaries are your gates. Protect them, and you protect your energy, your self-worth, your time. The more you protect them, the more people will respect what lies inside, and trust me, they will value you more than ever before. Number 5, master the art of not giving a damn. Mastering the art of not giving a damn is one of the most powerful tools you can use in a relationship. It doesn't mean you stop caring about your partner or the relationship itself, but it means you stop obsessing over their approval. You let go of the need to constantly please them or control how they see you. As the Stoics teach us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, meaning you create more pain by worrying about their reactions than by simply letting go. When you stop seeking their validation, you become magnetic. Why? Because people are drawn to those who don't need their approval. They sense your confidence and independence, and that's what makes you irresistible. In a relationship, the more you chase validation, the more your partner pulls away. When you stop caring about every little thing they do or say and start focusing on your own growth, your energy shifts. You become someone who is strong and self-reliant, someone they feel compelled to chase. But I get it. Letting go feels hard, especially if you're used to constantly worrying about where you stand. You think that caring more will make them care more, but it's the opposite. Picture a magnet. The more you pull, the more you repel them. but when you let go, they're drawn to you. It's difficult at first, but when you stop overthinking and let the relationship flow, you gain freedom. You stop reacting to every small thing, and they start wondering what changed. And trust me, they will notice. This is how you become magnetic without changing who you are, by mastering the art of indifference and letting them come to you. Number 6. Eyes that speak for you. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal when it comes to mastering the art of being magnetic without changing who you are. The way you look at someone can communicate more than any words ever could. Think about it. How often have you found yourself locked in a gaze with someone, and in that moment, everything else fades away? That's because eye contact creates a direct connection between you and the other person's emotions. When you hold someone's gaze with confidence, it sends a clear signal. You're not playing games, you're not unsure, and you're definitely not afraid. You're solid, centered, and completely in control of the situation. And trust me, that's magnetic. In relationships, your eyes can speak louder than anything you say. Instead of using words to explain how you feel or defend your position, sometimes all it takes is a look. Eye contact can be an expression of strength, intimacy, or even defiance. It's about showing your partner that you see them, and more importantly, that you're not backing down. It's not about intimidation, it's about confidence. When you meet someone's gaze without flinching, you demonstrate an inner calm, a steady belief in yourself that is impossible to ignore. This is what the Stoics talked about when they said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your eyes reflect what's happening inside you, your self-assurance, your groundedness. And when you project that through your gaze, it creates a magnetic pull. But here's the catch. Most people avoid eye contact when things get uncomfortable. In a heated argument or a difficult conversation, they look away or fidget because they feel vulnerable. It's tough to hold someone's gaze when emotions are running high, but this is exactly where your power lies. If you can master the art of maintaining eye contact in those moments of tension, you'll shift the entire dynamic. Your partner expects you to look away, to give in to the pressure, but when you don't, it throws them off. They feel your steadiness, and it forces them to reconsider their approach. That moment of connection held through eye contact is where you reclaim your power. Think of it like a lighthouse standing firm in the middle of a storm. The winds and waves are crashing all around, but the lighthouse doesn't move. It just shines its light unwavering, guiding everything in its direction. That's you. Your eye contact is the steady light in the emotional storm. Your partner may be emotional. They may be trying to provoke a reaction. But when you lock eyes and hold that gaze, it sends a message that you are unshakable. And believe me, that's something people can't help but be drawn to. You become the anchor, the stable force they can't ignore. Now, if it feels difficult, that's because it is. Holding eye contact when things are tough isn't easy, but that's why it's so powerful. It takes practice. Start small. Next time you're having a conversation, try holding their gaze just a little longer than usual. When it feels uncomfortable, resist the urge to look away. Over time, you'll find that you can maintain that connection without feeling exposed, and the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Here's the truth. Eye contact is a reflection of your inner confidence. When you hold someone's gaze, it shows that you don't need to prove yourself with words, that your presence alone is enough. This is the essence of being magnetic, without changing who you are. You're not pretending, you're not playing a role. You're simply showing up as your true self, unafraid and fully present. So, if you're ready to embrace this step, stay with me. We're just getting started. Eye contact is one of the many tools you'll use to transform how you show up in your relationships. Let me know you're committed. Drop "I command attention with my eyes" in the comments. Let's see who's ready to step into their power. Number 7. Detach from outcomes. Detaching from outcomes is one of the most powerful moves you can make in both life and relationships. It sounds simple, but in reality, it's a game changer. The concept is straightforward. Stop clinging to how you think things should turn out. When you're obsessed with controlling the outcome, whether it's getting the relationship you want, forcing someone to behave a certain way, or needing validation, you lose your power. Your focus shifts from being present and authentic to trying to control something you can't fully grasp. The truth is, you can't dictate someone else's actions or emotions, and the more you try, the further you push them away. Stoicism has a brilliant perspective on this. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." The Stoics understood that being tied to a specific outcome is a form of slavery. You become a prisoner of your own expectations. In relationships, this looks like overthinking, stressing about every interaction, and constantly worrying about whether things will work out the way you want. But when you let go, when you detach from needing the relationship to turn out exactly as you envision, you free yourself. You regain your power. Now, you might be thinking, but if I don't care about the outcome, doesn't that mean I don't care about the relationship? Absolutely not. It means you're focusing on what you can control, yourself. Detaching from the outcome allows you to be fully present, to give your best without being consumed by the fear of failure or rejection. And here's the irony. When you stop clinging to the result, you actually become more magnetic. People are drawn to those who are confident, self-assured, and not desperate for validation. When you're not fixated on where things are headed, the other person feels it, and it creates a sense of freedom in the relationship. Think of it like this. Imagine you're holding sand in your hand. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you relax your grip, the sand stays. Relationships are no different. The more you try to control every detail, the more you strangle the natural flow. But when you ease up, when you let go of trying to steer the outcome, the connection becomes stronger. It's counterintuitive, but that's where the magic lies, in the letting go. Of course, it's not always easy. We're hardwired to want control, to seek security in knowing what's next. But that's exactly why learning to detach is so important. The next time you feel yourself getting caught up in anxiety over how things will turn out, stop. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Focus on what's in front of you. Be the best version of yourself. Live in the moment, and let the rest unfold naturally. When you release that need to control, you give your relationship room to breathe. And that's when people start to feel truly drawn to you. If you're ready to unlock more powerful insights and transform your life, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. By joining our community, you'll never miss out on the steps you need to become the person everyone's drawn to. Let's keep growing together. Hit that subscribe button now